Reading voters face a decision on a sales tax increase this November. We'll break down what's on the ballot. Plus, Chico Fire welcomes a new interim chief. We'll discover his plans for the department. And the end might be in sight for the Bruce Road construction project. We'll bring you the very latest.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
In just over a month, Reading voters will decide on not only Prop 50 redistricting, but also a proposed 1% sales tax increase. Action News Now reporter Blake Mayfield spoke with voters today at the Sundial Bridge.
On November 4th, Reading voters will take to the polls to vote on Measure A. Measure A is a citizen-led initiative that would increase the sales tax rate in the city from 7.25% to 8.25%. The measure was put on the ballot after near unanimous approval from City Council. The lone dissenting vote came from Tanessa Audette.
Are those your everyday citizens, or are those organizations that are going to profit from it passing? And that, to me, I think is where that trust has been broken and where the motives are being questioned.
According to public records on the City of Reading's website, multiple entities such as the Reading Rodeo Association, Reading Rancheria, and Advance Reading have all donated thousands to help get the measure on the ballot. Independent donors include Baron Browning, Julie Dyer, and Todd Jones.
Because that was the only way that they saw to not have to cut anything, but to continue to spend and spend more. And so that's really what's at issue. Is this really a citizen-led? I mean, you could look at the donors to find out.
At the Sundial Bridge, one couple gave their thoughts on the potential increase.
I personally would not support it, and the reason why is I just have a hard time understanding exactly where the money is going.
I actually like when the city has a nice budget and they also have some money in savings, so I understand there is a big need in the city of Reading.
For the 2025-26 fiscal year, the city of Reading's operating budget is more than $556 million for 956 employees. With the increase, that number could be more than $600 million a year in 2026 and 27. Reporting in Reading, I'm Blake Mayfield, Action News Now.
In order to pass, the measure needs 50% plus one. Now, a live look from the Rainbow Lake Alert California camera. This is looking at Shasta County, and there we go again with some raindrops on the lens, and Howie joins us now with a look at what's happening.
Right, Alan. So we're seeing more of those showers. Those storms continue to move through the area. Good news is they'll be pulling away through the day on Friday. We'll continue to dry out. Radar a little stronger than yesterday, but by a little bit, unless you were off towards the southeast, Sacramento, into the foothills, into the Sierra. Then you were seeing some heavier bands. That seems to even be letting up at the moment or pushing further into Nevada for that matter. But yeah, we can still deal with some drizzle. I mean, some of the low-lying areas barely saw a half an inch of rain in 3 days. You won't see much above and beyond that into the fourth day today and into tomorrow. Higher elevations, yeah, we saw some higher totals, but overall, we've seen rain on the lighter side. Temperature-wise, though, again, cooler, 10 degrees below average, really, across the area. Winds not too bad today. We were gusty the last few days, 25, 30-mile-per-hour winds, nothing of the sorts today. Moisture levels way up, so that's good as we still are in fire season. And, okay, really quick, here's a look at our football weather for tomorrow. Not too bad on the cooler side by halftime as well. And here's our fire danger. Moisture levels great. Winds good. Heat good for tomorrow. Not too bad. And here's what we have. We'll stay on the low side for significant fire weather potential. We're going to warm up and dry off. We'll talk more about it in a moment, Alan.
Thanks, Howie. We told you earlier this week that Chico Fire welcomed a new interim fire department chief, but he's not actually new to the department. Bill Hack served as the only chief up until 2017. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe spoke with Hack and shares with us how he feels to be back on duty.
After leaving Chico Fire in 2017, serving in 2 other cities, and retiring 2 years ago, this week Bill Hack is back in the saddle as Chico Fire's interim fire chief.
It's actually been very exciting coming back, and I see a lot of the same faces, but meeting a lot of new faces and a lot of new energy.
While Hack is filling in temporarily, he wants to ensure operations and programs are running smoothly within the department. He's still on his first week and says there's quite a bit of catching up to do, as a lot has changed for him, but in a good way.
Again, I left here in 2017, and a lot changed. You know, we went through COVID, we went through some more fiscal tightening, and it's great to see what the city and the council has done to move us forward through these challenges, and to be able to start getting back to where we think is a more normalized operating model for the fire department and for the city in general.
One of the first tasks he's been given is beginning the hiring process to staff Engine 1. He says the interview process is starting up soon. Reporting in Chico, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
Now, Hack started his career with Chico Fire in 1995, and when he was promoted to the chief in 2016, he was the first one to be promoted internally in 50 years. New tonight, we have new information about a massive marijuana bust this week in the Concow area. On Monday, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife worked with Cal Fire and the FBI to execute a search warrant on a property on Hog Ranch Road south of Hoffman Road. They detained 10 people. They say they eradicated more than 10,000 pot plants, destroyed more than 260 pounds of processed marijuana, and seized 2 guns and some restricted use pesticide. Environmental scientists also documented 17 violations of Fish and Wildlife Code, including illegally diverting water from the national forest. Well, new tonight, registered nurses at Enloe Health are picketing outside the hospital right now, sharing their concern about the decision to close the home health and hospice units. The California Nurses Association and National Nurses United are pushing back on the closure, which is set for the end of the month. They say they protect the health of some of Chico's most vulnerable patients and maintain essential services and end-of-life care.
I've been an employee with Enloe since 2021. I was with Feather River Hospital Home Health for 31 years prior to that, and prior, of course, to the campfire. So it's just sad to see this service leave the community. It's narrowing down patients' options for healthcare in our community.
The California Nurses Association represents more than 1,000 nurses at Enloe. We did reach out, and Enloe Health told us in part, quote, "The difficult decision to close Enloe's home health and hospice services was made after careful consideration and allows Enloe to focus limited resources on acute and other ambulatory health care services." Enloe said no patient care was interrupted by the picket. You can find the full statement on our website. Just click on the News tab and then News Links. A high-speed pursuit ended in a felony arrest in Butte County. Deputies say they tried to pull over a 56-year-old Chris Lopez back on September 29th, but he sped off. They say that the chase hit speeds of 100 miles per hour and ended on Hurlton Road. Lopez allegedly took off running, but was eventually chased down and taken into custody. Deputies say they found a handgun and ammunition on him. Lopez faces multiple felony charges, including evading and assault on an officer. Historic Hawes Farms in Anderson is getting ready for its annual Hawes Haunts event. And Action News Now reporter Jesse Angelo is live with what guests can expect from this year's festivities. It looks like
Yeah, that's right, Alan. And Hawes Farms has been a go-to Halloween destination for people in California for over 20 years. And crews have been working really diligently for the last few weeks, getting everything ready for the grand opening this weekend. I spoke with the owner of Hawes Farms, Greg Hawes, about what people can expect this year.
Well, all the haunts are getting changed. Especially this year, the people running it. It's the second year, so the first year we're getting their feet wet, and they went through and changed most everything. So, going to be really, really good this year.
The most popular attraction at Hawes Haunts is their famous corn maze. This year's maze is inspired by country superstar Lainey Wilson, and the grand opening is Saturday at 10 a.m. live in Anderson. Jesse Angelo, Action News Now.
Sounds fun. Thanks, Jesse. And Hayes says that over 30,000 people attend Hawes Farm Haunts each year.